tuned in to the 411 for your fantasy football with your host, Autumn Wind Williams.
What's going on, everybody? It's Autumn Wind Williams. You're watching the 411 for your fantasy football on YouTube and also now through podcast media, wherever you listen to your podcast. I just started last week for the first time doing a podcast. And, because it was pointed out to me last year, I got a message on Twitter. The guy was like, why do you call it the 411 podcast and you only have it on YouTube? So I said, you know what? I'm going to do it this time, especially when everything's opening up and people are trying to get outside. They spent a lot of time at the computer for, a year and a half now. So I know a lot of people want to be able to have the show right in their pocket on their smartphone, listen to the podcast while they're on the go. So that's what I ended up doing last week. And I'm going to be having more podcasts than I do YouTube likely. So a lot of stuff I post on podcasts, it may not necessarily make it to YouTube. So make sure you click on the link in the description so you know where to locate me during the podcast, and it actually has a message button on there if you're interested in leaving a comment and having me play it on a future show within the weeks. But anyway, like I said last week, I wanted to get a show out there for you guys that's based on stacking, game stacking when you're building your NFL DFS lineups on DraftKings and FanDuel or Yahoo or wherever you decide to, maybe even use it a little bit in best ball. First I want to check out the things that's been going on in the news. I'm sure you guys already know about Cam Akers. Yeah, I used him heavily in best ball. I was so disappointed to hear about his injury, torn Achilles. I know how I feel. I tore my Achilles and broke my ankle. So I can only imagine Mari Cooper dealing with the ankle too. So I definitely relate. Stuff never really heals, to be honest with you, especially when the fall and the spring come around, it gets cold. And the older you get, I'll tell you, I'm 46. So the older you get, the more pain you feel in your ankle and your Achilles because of the damage it caused, and you sometimes develop arthritis, and that just make it worse when winter comes around, you playing the snow games, you're not going to perform your best. So you guys take note of that when you're drafting players for best ball, season-long fantasy, DFS. Follow those beat writers, those doctors that's now involved in DFS as well, because they know a lot, treating patients all the time, treating sports players. If they're involved in sports medicine, pay attention to them. But not only that, today we got word that Deshaun Watson showing up for training camp because he don't want to miss out $50,000 a day he misses, I think it is. So we also got Anthony Miller from the Chicago Bears. He was traded. Let me check my notes right quick. But that's one less wide receiver they're going to have with the Bears. Oh, he's traded to the Texans. Maybe that motivated Deshaun Watson to show up. I don't know. Maybe they will develop some chemistry if he does decide to play this year and those legal actions are gone away for good. I really feel bad for the guy because I have a brother that dealt with a similar situation like that. He came to be found not guilty, luckily, because it's something that he didn't do. But it's a lot of stuff that he had to deal with, his name all over the internet. And when people put dirt on your name in that type of situation, a regular person not playing football or anything, it's hard to get on your feet and get another job because your name is all over media. So no one's willing to give you a chance. I'm hoping Deshaun Watson didn't do what he's actually accused of, but I wasn't there, he wasn't there, so let's just let the courts handle it. And hopefully he didn't do it. But anyway, O.J. Howard is not cleared to practice yet for the Tampa Bay Bucks. Aaron Rodgers, everything is still up in the air. Saw a report that he wants $90 million guaranteed over the next 2 years. I don't think you're getting it, bro. I don't think you're getting it. Um, yeah, it's just been very interesting. All these reports coming out as we approach the season, approaching preseason pretty soon. So you're going to see those DFS contests show up on FanDuel and DraftKings. I see what they're doing now. They push in best ball heavily. The Sunday million dollar tournament on FanDuel. I already won 8 tickets on there. Luckily, I don't have to put in, tons of money just to play the Sunday $1 million contest and use those 8 tickets. And hopefully, I win some more tournaments, satellites, and baseball or whatever they have on their website. It's pretty tough, but to come up number one a few times, win double tickets a few times, even make the top 5, it helps you get wiser with your selections, especially when you're a guy like me and you don't really necessarily follow a lot of baseball and you do research, watch a little bit of the games, and come out lucky. I'm just hoping this luck comes around, for the NFL season this year, and maybe something happen with these $1 million Sunday tickets that I got. 8 of them so far. Hope we can make some more. Anyway, let's get into stacking. Like what I like to do, like say if I'm building 150 lineups, I'll make one lineup where it's a quarterback, a running back, second string, and a bring back. Quarterback, running back, second string on the same team, and then a bring back. I'll have another one where I'll make quarterback, first receiver, third receiver, and a bring back. Then I'll have quarterback, third receiver, tight end, and a bring back from the other side of the team. When I say a bring back, I mean from the other side of the team. Also, a fourth lineup I'll do is quarterback, first wide receiver, second wide receiver, and a bring back. The last one I'll do is quarterback, running back, tight end, and a bring back. And this is for like those games where it's a high implied total, where you want to have a piece of that game, but not necessarily just always put the chalk of the team in there. You want to get different players that just might have a big game that week, and not just say put in, say for example last year, Matt Ryan, Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones. Likely both Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones is not always going to have a big game, but you see I do got one stack where it's first, second, wide receiver stacked with the quarterback, then a bring back from the other team. So sometimes it's going to happen, but most of the time it's not going to be the first and second wide receiver that have huge games. So I like to play around with at least 5 lineups like that from a game I see that has a high implied total. And then what I like to do is try to do a hedge stack. If I'm for one team where I'm building 5 lineups like that, I'll do a few other ones from the other side of the team and do like that same type of pattern, and hopefully something develop where I'm cashing from that. Another way I like to approach a game stack is like, say you have your Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper, and then maybe one of their tight ends, and then have 2 bringbacks from the other team, maybe their running back and also their second string wide receiver. So you'll have 2 players from one team, 3 from another, and then you can pick like maybe running back you think that's going to do good, and then stack that running back with the defense. Now, a lot of people say you shouldn't necessarily stack the defense with the running back, but I like my lineups to completely tell a story. I know a lot of people just like to go for the cheapest defense it is, so they can spend up every other position. Go cheap at tight end, cheap at defense. That's true. That's really understandable. I understand it a lot, but at the same time, it feels like to me when I hear guys say defenses don't matter, it's kind of like a cop-out, like you don't want to research to see what defense is actually good against an offense. So I feel like that's kind of a wasted position if you just toss anybody in there. I mean, if you got a $2,000 defense and it looked like they got some production against a weak offense, like say against the 2020 Jets, then yeah, go ahead. If that defense is priced real low, then why not? But I mean, don't just put in, say, the 2020 Jacksonville Jaguars just because they're 2,000 going against, say, the 49ers. Even though Garoppolo's not that great, you had running backs that was going crazy on the 49ers. Then you have Kittle. 1 week I remember Jordan Reed did good when Kittle was out with an injury. So it's like you really got to pay attention to defense too, as much as a lot of people don't want to and only want to focus on their offensive players. I feel like you're wasting the position. So, like I said, you don't necessarily have to stack the defense with the running back. You can just play any defense, but make sure they're going to go out there and do some kind of productive work. Not just because you don't want to get real good scores everywhere else and then your defense sucks. So pay close attention to that. But yeah, that's another way. Like I like to game stack 2 from the opposing team and 2 receivers or a tight end or a running back with the quarterback. And a lot of times people say it's not good correlation to stack a quarterback with a running back. It all depends, because you can have, say, I'll say Dak Prescott again. You can play him with Zeke. He's going to give Zeke checkdowns. And you see when Dak Prescott got injured last year, look at the performance Zeke had. It was horrible. He was like a brand new different player where he had Pollard coming in the game all the time because he couldn't be productive without Dak Prescott. So that's a good correlation right there, because you can play Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Michael Gallup, or CeeDee Lamb, and then bring back, say, if they're playing Seahawks, you can have Metcalf, or Metcalf and you want to go double tight end. Back then you could play Olsen at the flex position. That's another thing I want to mention too with this video. It's not really pertaining to, a little bit pertaining to flex spots, but one thing you want to do with flex spots, make sure you put that guy with the Q tag in there that's playing the latest game. Or even if you don't have any players with the Q tag, put in the player that's playing the latest game always in a flex spot, because that way you can do a late swap. What a late swap is say you got a highly owned Derrick Henry, and he's playing a late game, and you got, say, one of your receiver positions is a late game. Not that great of a receiver, you kind of iffy about it, but you think he got some kind of upside. And just say you're close to really getting some decent amount of cash right out of mid-cashing, and then you look and see there's another running back playing a late game that does have decent production. He's cheaper than Derrick Henry. You can move Derrick Henry out, put this player in, maybe say a Austin Eckler, and that money that you're saving from going down from Derrick Henry to Austin Eckler, that's enabling you to move up at that late playing wide receiver spot that may have a little bit more production, and he may be able to mini stack with Austin Eckler. Like say if it's Chargers versus the Steelers, you take out Derrick Henry, put in Austin Eckler, and then put in Deontay Watson in the receiver position. So you got a game stack with Steelers and Chargers right there, and the rest of your lineup is looking really good. So even though Derrick Henry is really popular, they expect him to get 2 touchdowns, 100 yards or whatever, they're going against a defense that's not good at the run, it's a chance we're taking, yeah. But then you put in Austin Eckler that's going to get pass catching, possibly get 2 touchdowns. Deontay Johnson, hopefully he don't get injured again. We've seen that so many times last year. But maybe he goes out there and get a touchdown or 2. And that's boosting you up in the green right there. So, that's a little bit of the notes I wanted to share with you guys this week based on stacking, game stacking, the flex position, correlating your lineups, what's a good correlation, what's not. I'll leave that to you to figure out what you feel is better for you. Some of you guys just might want to do a straight-up onslaught. I remember years before where people did an onslaught with the Steelers. They had Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell. It was Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, what's the guy, the alien, Martavius Bryant, and they had McDonald with the Steelers defense, and then it just got different everywhere else, and they won the GPP. So you can do an onslaught like that. An onslaught is picking, 4 or 5 players sometime with the defense. That's an onslaught, and you can get lucky with that. But, I just wanted to give you guys a few ideas to try to meditate on before the season starts to see how you're going to approach it. And hopefully I beat you. Hopefully you do well, but hopefully I beat you at the same time. But, that's what I got for you guys this week. Might try to put out another video, but like I said, follow me on the podcast as well. Check the link in the description so you know where I am, because I think I'm going to put out a little bit more on there. Just like, say, first look. I don't normally do first look videos, but I might put it in podcast form while I'm just kicking back at home watching Monday Night Football and just reviewing what's on the next slate. I just might have some days where I go on a podcast and just speak on what happened that entire Sunday, whether it was good or bad, how well I did, how bad I sucked, all of that. Or just do some Q&A on there. If you guys got messages on there, I can go on and make videos and do messages for y'all. But that's about it. I'm about to head out, y'all. Y'all be safe, stay blessed. Peace.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the 411 Podcast. Now get ready to make that money. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at the 411 DFS.